Hey everyone, I wanted to take a moment and talk with you about something that's really popular is not the right word, but really common right now, and that is disagreement. And first I would say about disagreement, it's fine to disagree. There's people in my life that I know and love and respect, and as because I'm a Christ follower, I also know they're Christ followers. And sometimes we look at a situation or a problem or a question about the future, and we disagree. You know what? And that's okay. It's fine. There's no problem there. I still care about them. They still care about me. We just happen to see that issue differently, and it's not a big deal. Even if the issue is really important, because the relationship is actually more important than the issue. And so disagreeing in and of itself is not the problem. The problem comes when we allow a disagreement to make us divisive or to divide things. You've seen it already. You may have unfortunately experienced it too, but what happens sometimes is when we disagree with someone, what we disagree about is important to us, and for whatever reason, it becomes something that divides us. And usually, two things happen when divisiveness is taking place. One is we start to see things as an us versus them. We begin to draw up sides, and we look for people that agree with us so that we can go and counter the people that don't agree with us. And that's such a dangerous place to be, because that's not who we are as people. It's not us and them. And you might say, well, wait a minute, what about non-Christians? What does that look like? Well, very simply, there's people that follow Jesus, and there's people that aren't followers of Jesus yet. You see, that's the way we need to think about it. We want everyone to become a follower of Jesus. And so it's not us and them. And as a matter of fact, Paul even writes about this. He said, our enemies are not flesh and blood. That's not who we're against and who's against us. Jesus didn't treat people that way either. And so we don't want to. We don't want to draw up into us and them. But when we start dividing things up, it's really hard not to do that. But the second consequence, and it's equally damaging, is not only do we start seeing people as us and them, but the truth is, because we have divided ourselves and we see people as an enemy, in our mind and in our heart, sometimes we give ourselves permission then to be hurtful. Because they're my enemy, because they don't agree with me, it doesn't really matter if they get hurt. And then the extreme form of that is we start to cancel people. You don't agree with me? Then I don't have any room for you. Even if it's just one issue, I don't have any room for you in my life because we don't agree on this one issue. Oh, that's such a bad place to be. And we know intellectually, we know that's not right. We know we shouldn't live that way and we shouldn't think that way, but it's so easy to fall in that trap if we start to allow our disagreements to divide us. I'm so glad that Jesus didn't cancel people, right? I mean, just about everybody disagreed with Jesus, but he didn't cancel them because they disagreed. He continued to develop a relationship with them, and he won them over. And that's our role. That's our job. That's what it looks like to disagree with somebody, not to take sides and not to cancel them, but to include them. And we are in one of the most divisive seasons that I can remember in the history of our nation. I mean, there's all kinds of disagreement about the virus and how it's handled and what should be done. There's all kinds of upset about the recession that has come because of the shutdowns. There's all kinds of concerns about racial unrest. And on top of that, there's an election coming up, and everybody seems to have opinions about that too. There's a lot of disagreement going on out there, and it makes me wonder, when everybody is arguing and fighting and dividing, what if? What if there was a group that chose instead to not divide, even if they don't agree? What if we could model for everyone else what it looks like to live in such a way that even when we're not always on the same page, the relationship is never in question? That we always choose love over dividing, even if we don't agree. There's an incredible opportunity for us and for our culture. And let's be honest, they need it. Our culture needs this. They need to see what it looks like to disagree and love each other anyway. They need to see that they can disagree with us and still be loved. So there's a fantastic opportunity here as well. Even though it's a big problem, even though it's easy to get sucked into, it's also a great opportunity for the church, for you, for me, to do something different and show people a better way. So I hope you'll do that. There's two questions I ask myself, because it's easy for me to get sucked into this too. I have opinions, believe me. I have thoughts and ideas about politics and about what's going on in society and just all the things that everyone else is also working on and thinking about and disagreeing about. I have my own understanding of those things too. And so I really try to use these two gauges to help me understand, am I handling this the right way? And the first one is actually kind of an odd one, but it's really simple. Am I having real conversations? Um, it's easy to watch CNN or Fox or whatever news you like and just scroll social media and think that that represents the world. But the truth is, it doesn't. Most of the time, it represents the very extreme positions. And when I go and talk with people, one of the things I find is that people are, by and large, reasonable. That people, for the most part, are willing to have a conversation. That people aren't necessarily looking to draw up lines and have a fight and figure out who my enemies are. Sometimes you just need to take a break from that stuff. And I know for me, I always do better when I have more real conversations than I have online connections. And so maybe that would help you too. Make sure you're having more real conversations with real people than taking everything from the media or social media. The second one, and this is tough, I'm gonna be honest with you, this is a hard one. I have to check myself. Am I more emotionally involved and more passionate about a politician or a social issue or what's happening politically than I am about following Jesus? Because if my emotional investment and my passion is not first to follow Jesus, I'm in trouble. And frankly, if you're a follower of Jesus, so are you. And these things have helped me navigate this. These two questions that I ask myself have helped me try to stay out of the divisiveness, even if I disagree. And so maybe they're helpful for you too. And my design is not to make you feel bad or not to beat you up, but to ask you to join me in this season of disagreement, in this season of sometimes, unfortunately, divisiveness, to instead show love, to make sure I'm not dividing sides and that I'm inviting others to be loved, even if we don't agree. I hope this is helpful to you. I'm on a journey just like you are. I get charged up just like you do. These two things have really helped me, and I hope they're helpful for you too. Have a great rest of your day.